All right. Again, homework 5, question number 4. So, if you recognize from the last problems, um, we did distance equals speed by time, speed equals distance over time. So, as you might imagine in this next example, we are going to solve for time. Yep. So, time equals distance divided by speed. All right. So similar approach to the last couple problems. We start with our general equation. We'll fill in the given information, and then we will get the units to line up accordingly. So Larry ran 629 meters at a rate of 15 miles per hour. How many seconds did it take? All right. So in this case, Larry ran 629 meters. That's going to be the distance. 629 meters. Speed in this case is 15 miles per hour. And what is speed? Yes, speed is a fraction. And the importance of speed being represented as a fraction will be illustrated within this example. So that is to say, do not write 15 mph. 15 mph will not get you anywhere, just confused and frustrated. So let's go ahead and fill in this given information. Time is 629 meters divided by 15 miles per 1 hour. Okay, now here's why speed needs to be represented as a fraction. Because if it's not represented as a fraction, the probability of you seeing this next maneuver is very low. So recognize we have a fraction buried inside of a fraction, right? This 15 miles per hour is a fraction, and that's embedded within this larger fraction. So that is a huge pain. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Using the old clever trick, do not divide by a fraction. Multiply by its reciprocal. So we're going to take this 629 meters, and instead of dividing by this fraction, we're going to multiply by this fraction's reciprocal, which is simply this same fraction but flipped upside down. All right. So filling in the general information, important that speed is represented as a fraction so that when you have the general equation filled out, one can recognize do not divide by a fraction, instead multiply by its reciprocal. So let's go ahead and give ourselves some space here. Time, and we do want time out in seconds, so I'm going to write myself a note. So time equals 629 meters. And let's go ahead and insert that denominator of 1 that's implicitly underneath this 629 meters. Just so we have like pieces, right? Fractions with fractions with fractions. Makes life a little nicer. 629 meters multiplied by 1 hour over 15 miles. Well, I want time out in seconds, so all 3 of these units are going to have to go away. So let's start with meters. Meters is upstairs, so I need to introduce a meters downstairs. So meters upstairs will undo meters downstairs. I do know the relationship between meters and miles. For every 1 mile, I have 1609 meters. Hopefully you can read this, or at least with the audio, decipher what I'm writing. So miles downstairs undoes miles upstairs. What remains is to get rid of this hour. Well, hours is upstairs, so I need to introduce hours downstairs. Hours downstairs undoes hours upstairs. What I do want out is seconds, so sure would be nice. If I introduce seconds there, well, for every 1 hour, I have 3,600 seconds. So, meters went away with meters, hours went away with hours, miles went away with miles, and I'm left behind with just seconds, which is exactly what I want. I want time out in seconds. So time is, and we'll multiply straight across. So 629 times 1 times 1 times 3,600. Units that survived upstairs, I have seconds. Downstairs, I have 1 by 15 by 1609 by 1. Units downstairs, 1 is unitless, miles went away, meters went away, hours went away. So the only surviving unit I have is seconds, which is exactly what I wanted. So let's go ahead and crunch these numbers. 629 by 3,600. 2264400 seconds. It's quite a few seconds. Over 15 by 1609. 241.35. Lastly, we'll do this division. Take the numerator, divide it by the denominator to get 93.82224, blah, 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 blah. And that's a measure of seconds. We want to round to 1 decimal place. So we'll inspect our second decimal place, ask ourselves, is the second decimal place big enough to round up my first decimal place? The answer is no. So 23.8 seconds is our answer. All right, moment of truth. 93.8. Mix 93. All right, one more down. All right, see you on the next one.